All right, here we are. We're live. Awesome. Well, man, I really appreciate you taking your time out to be here. And with us today, we are in the middle, and I'm actually reaching back because my dog decided he wants to come over here and growl at something. So if you guys hear growling in the background, I'll tell you what, just remove that noise and just focus on what we're talking about. The reason is because I'm really excited. This guy that I'm about to share with you guys with is when it comes to list building, when it comes to email marketing, when it comes to that, this guy has gone through. I've watched him go from just really kind of. I didn't see you exactly at the beginning, but I saw you come on the scene and you took off like a freaking rocket ship. And it's just been amazing to see this. And I'll tell you guys. I mean, he's been. I will say this. I was thinking this before we got on the call. Every time I Google you, there is more testimonials. I've never seen so many testimonials, and I've been around for 20 years in this business. It's testimonial for everything you're doing, and so that's a testament in itself.
Yeah. I mean, we work hard on the testimonial part, and this is like a conscious decision I made because, I mean, let's face it, we are in a very shady industry. I mean, if anyone ever tried to make money online or be an affiliate marketer or build a list or anything like that. I mean, you remember the ClickBank days, right? Where just, you see a new push button software that's supposed to make you rich overnight, like pop every single day. And, they would mail for those launches and it's like a big screenshot, big account numbers. But at the end of the day, a lot of people got disappointed. So, when I was kind of the up and comer, back when John Cornetta was still kind of pulling me by the back of my shirt, I was like, gotta build that proof. The proof element is absolutely critical because if there's no belief, nobody's buying, right? The people only buy to the extent that they believe. So, and it's really hard. It's one thing that when I say something, but when someone else says that about me, it's totally different thing in and of itself. And there's a marketing lesson in that. That's why testimonials and social proof is so powerful. And, I'll be honest with you, a lot of times in my, online marketing career, if you will, I did a lot of things for free, and I did a lot of things for a lot of people because knowing that if they can put a good word for me, that alone would be worth millions of dollars over the course of the next few years.
Yeah. Well, and you've proved it because you've made millions of dollars. I mean, you went from. I mean, here's one good thing for many of you guys that don't know. I mean, don't really know. About you. And you and I both talked about this. I mean, we both didn't come from humble beginnings. You've actually had worse beginnings than me. I heard something about just the stuff that you went through. At the beginning and where you are right now is night and day. And I don't know if a lot of people can relate to that, and whether you can or can't, I'll just tell you it's good to know. And I like somebody that can scrap. I'm kind of the guy. I used to be in these groups where I was in this one group where you have to get invited to get in, and this is nothing to do with internet marketing. These are all business guys, and I was in there with these guys that daddy gave them all this money, and they had all this money to buy these companies, and I'm in there and I started all from scratch. And it was like we didn't get along very much because I'm like, daddy gave you the money, I've earned my money. I don't. What are you talking about? Venture capital. I said I use my own funds to create all my stuff, but. That's one of the great things. But here's the thing, and this is the thing, and I believe you and I, and you can disagree, do come to the same thing on this. When it all comes down to it, we can look at everything out there. The number one most important thing to everything that I've ever built, and I thank God I learned this at the beginning. Well, not that I didn't actually know at the beginning. I learned it and became really rich. Is I had to build a list. I mean, that was the key. Like that was the turning point in everything. I think you and I were talking 2 days ago, last night. I built a list of 10,000 people who made my first million. And you were like, whoa, yeah. And the same thing. I mean, you've built lists, you make millions from it. I mean, it's the key to everybody. And it's the fun thing is you and I are so alike on this. And I'll tell it to everybody. There's so many people out there telling you, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. This is the best thing since sliced bread. Hey, you got to do this strategy. You got to do this strategy. You got to do this strategy. When at the end of the day, they're using email to tell you guys this.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at every guru, literally every single one who crossed at least 10K per month. I mean, obviously 10K per month to me is not a guru anymore. It used to be, but every guru, they have a list. And even if they're driving a lot of traffic off of social media, the smart ones, they build the list off of social media. They take people off social media and into the email because they know email is the most profitable one. I mean, And you don't really need to look far to see proof of that. For example, I had no idea until about last year when I stumbled into this study where they defined two groups of consumers. The first group were the people who check their Facebook first thing in the morning. So, like the kind of person that wakes up, picks up their phone, and logs into Facebook. For example, my business partner Dennis is like that. The first thing he does is check Facebook. Now, I, on the other hand, what I do is I check my email. Now, I try to do less of that now in the mornings, otherwise I lose kind of track of my day. But I check my email. So there's two groups of consumers, right? And what they found out is that psychologically, these people treat businesses differently. Can you believe that? Like, what happened was that it turns out that people who were checking their email first thing in the morning and interacted with other businesses through email, they supported business and basically psychologically thought about supporting the business by buying from the business. While people who were supporting the business on social media and following them on social media, psychologically, the moment they liked a post or commented on a post or sent a heart to that post, that's to them how they patronize the business. So if you think about it, if you run a shop, let's just say you sell fishing gear, okay? Which customer would you rather have? The one that comes into this store and says, yeah, that's cool stuff you got here. Like, heart, so see you tomorrow. And or would you better like someone who walks in and says, okay, that's cool, I want that, so here's the money, and and you have a transaction. So obviously you want the email people. You want the ones who interact with you over email, because email is that personal media. And this is something that Perry Marshall said it back in the day in 80-20 sales and marketing. He said that email is the personal media, right? He said that email is if you get into the inbox, it's kind of like getting permission to enter someone's personal space, because everything personal happens over email, doesn't it? Think about it. You order something on Amazon. You get a receipt in your Facebook account, on your Instagram, or it isn't. It's right. It's an email. If you need to like renew your passport and you set an appointment into the embassy, right? So I'm a foreigner. I live in Canada, but I'm a foreigner. I'm from Israel, originally born in Ukraine. So I deal with embassies all the time. So the way you book an appointment and get a confirmation is using your email. When you talk to your lawyer, you use an email or your Facebook. When you talk to your accountant, so today I met with an accountant. We set the whole thing up over email, and when we ended the meeting and we shake hands, he said, well, if you need anything, just email me. He didn't say just Instagram me or follow me on Instagram. So as far as I'm concerned, there are some niches where social media may be useful. Like if I'm a 19-year-old bikini model, right, I probably can benefit from Instagram. But if I'm in business to sell stuff, especially if that stuff is more expensive than 20 or 50 bucks, I'm definitely going for email, because that's where the money is.
Well, that's awesome. So, there's a lot of people on here. I mean, a lot of people that are part of this, a lot of people are going to see this. I mean, I will say that one thing. I'll just let you know right now, we have, families here. I told you, like we were picking times. I said, nothing's going to be in the way. And then my wife's like, oh, do you not realize that the SEC championship's on right now? So we're big. My daughter goes to Alabama, and Alabama's playing right now. So roll Tide. I don't know where we're at right now in the game, but so just so you know, people, as soon as the game's over, more people will be watching this for sure. But because America is watching, a lot of people in America are watching the game.
Yeah, Americans and North Americans take sports seriously. I mean, I come from Ukraine and Israel, right? We watch soccer, and usually happens late at night, and most people watch that. But over here, you know what I feel? I feel like every single person who really supports a team, they support that team with their whole heart, 24/7. Like you see guys walking down the street wearing the Toronto Maple Leaf shirts or Toronto Raptors, and they're like, they live the team, which is awesome. And there's a lesson in it, because in my opinion, anyone who wears a Toronto Raptors jersey, they subscribe to the Toronto Raptors list. I mean, that's it. And they're like a fanboy or a fangirl, and they're like committed to that brand. And in my opinion, that is one of the biggest, most important things you can do for your business. Like if there's anything in my business that I can tap for ongoing feeling of confidence and security about my financial future, it's the fact that the level of affinity I have with my audience is very, very high. The level of trust with my audience is very, very high. And I know that because of that, I don't have to worry about running out of money tomorrow, because as long as I maintain my integrity, I will always create those transactions, because those transactions will be created in the trust factor. Not only that, I mean, from a standpoint of just sound business sense, when you create that affinity with your market, the price objections pretty much go out the window. You're no longer a commodity, right? You're no longer somebody who can be easily replaced, because that relationship can be overrun and just kind of thrown out the window. Like, there's just so much power to that, to you, when you build that affinity and you build that tribe. I think I don't remember what I read, but someone said that to solve all your life's problems, just start a cult. Right? and I see what they meant. I mean, it's a bit of an extreme, but I see what they meant, because cult members, they're committed to the group, to the tribe. And if you have like these people, even if you have only 50 people or 20 people or 100 people, and they're all committed to that core message that you bring to the table and that you spread in the marketplace, those 100 people will probably guarantee that you make six figures that year.
Oh yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that, because if we were in my office, right? I'm not in my office. I was literally going to drive the golf cart over there, but there was a game, so I'm at home. And so, but anyway, if I was driving over there, I have my own book next to me on one of mine. I always keep it there. Just too big to go on the shelf too. That's kind of the reason I built it that way. But then I have another book. It's called Cult Branding. And so it's a good book that I've read, that I actually have, and I do read a lot, because it's one of those big, and there's another one called Cult Control.
There's one that's called The True Believer. Really good. The True Believer, they really break down what makes people join cults and what is that value that they get from them. And they go into things like, the communism, the Nazism, Scientology, all these hardcore cults that live through generations. Like, it's really fascinating. If you're a student of influence, if you're a student of human psychology, like, you're going to dig that book.
That's interesting. So I had to Google. What I was doing is typing and Googling, because there's another book called Biology. B-U-Y. Yeah. And inside
I
there,
I want to be a little bit on the scientific side. Like,
it is. And they did a lot of stuff on the brain activity, and they really looked at stuff like that. But there was a point in there, and I actually looked it up, because I did biology and then religion and sports, because they said one of the biggest said the strongest brands out there are like religions. And their research teams compared the brain's activity, really viewing images of brands, religion, and sports figures, which really got me to that. And they said, I'm reading right here, so the activity invoked by strong brands were much like those caused by religious images. And actually, when sports teams have taken on that concept and realize a lot of things like that, you'll start seeing them bringing in, they'll look at religion in itself and try to bring in elements from religion into the sports teams. And then they also started talking a little bit more about how the ones that do that, actually the ones that have the biggest loyal teams.
I see that completely. Like, think about it this way. So I'm Jewish, but I'm also baptized. And so I kind of got a taste of both religions, just the Christianity and the Judaism. And then I grew up in Israel, which is like half Muslim, because there's so many Arabs and a lot of people who basically are Muslim. And so I got to observe all these religions from up and close. And what you notice is that, for example, in Christianity, they talk about hell 5 times more often than you talk about heaven. Right? So they talk about the enemy, or the consequence of interacting with the enemy somehow, 5 times more often, sort of like scaring you into the believing. Now, the Jewish religion is exactly the same. Like, there's hundreds upon thousands of pages, just literally just pages and pages and pages describing like the bad behaviors, and kind of so what not to do. So you're always scared that you're not going to get into the promised land if you misbehave and stuff like that. So many of these religions, they all subscribe to the exact same mechanisms. And that is why eventually, and again, I'm not looking to offend anyone, I'm just expressing my opinion here. And I know that religion is a sensitive subject, just as politics. But, I went to religious school, in Israel for 2 years. I put on. Are you familiar with the word tefillin? Like the one the thing you put on their arm and on the belt. It's basically like when you pray in Judaism, like you put this thing on. So I was going to a proper religious school every day. I was doing the prayers. I was doing everything, and eventually I unsubscribed from the faith altogether because I saw religion as just one giant business. But going through those steps myself, it really, now that I kind of, in retrospect, I see how that helped me to eventually break down the marketing and break down the influential mechanism. So, when I kind of remember what they used to do to us, I now understand why a lot of my friends are still very religious and kind of go that path, because, it's just a way to indoctrinate, and it's, it works for them. They believe in God. They're really happy and fulfilled. Perfect. It just didn't work for me at the time. But the mechanisms are always the same. Business, religion, sports, like you said, it's just so similar, which is great too, because just the proven path. If you can figure out the proven elements to it, you can just replicate it in your business, right?
Yeah. Well, so a lot of people, so it's interesting for a lot of people to even think that about it, because you even said indoctrination or indoctrination, and a lot of people don't realize, even a lot of the follow-up sequences that we create, have that whole concept. We are indoctrinating them into our world. We're bringing them in, letting them know who we are. Why should they listen to us? What gives us the right to even, share the things that we're sharing? And and that brings it in there. When it comes to email marketing, list building, what have you done? I mean, you built a list of I don't know, I was reading like 4.7 million.
I mean, I put the number 4.3 million, but that's like, how when you build a list and it's getting super big, you got to start removing people and kind of removing the dead weight and stuff like that. You were telling me yesterday that you had a list, like a ginormous list, and that it became a hassle just to have it. So you kind of reverted back to having small but quality list. So, over the last 4 years or so, like I've literally put over 4.3 million subscribers into the pipeline. Obviously, I didn't keep, most of them. I probably removed 80% of them eventually, but, they did have like quite a short lifespan. But, I did get through like the learning that I went through, the data I've seen and the experiences I went through. I've kind of seen everything there is to see about list building. And, when it comes to lists, first off, I do subscribe to the idea that not every subscriber is made equal. But the other idea that I want to really kind of balance out is that a lot of times people ask me, Igor, you're all about, solo ads. You're all about like email traffic. So when I drive solo traffic, does it mean I can only sell them a $17 item because I hear the quality isn't great?
Oh my God, I hear this all the time.
This is a question that comes up a lot for me.
Yeah.
And so this is what I tell people. The misconception lies in the fact that a lot of people think that if it's a Facebook click, then it's a quality click, or if it's a solo ad click, then it's not as quality, or vice versa, or if it's a Google AdWords click, then it's super targeted, and so on and so forth. But truth of the matter is that it's not about the origination of the click unless there was like super clear intent behind it. For example, if somebody wants to buy a bicycle, and you literally was able to rank number one for the keyword buy bicycle right now. Obviously, there's intent there, so it's going to be better traffic. But what influences the quality of the subscriber as well as the conversions more is the environment in which you present the offer. Meaning that if all you do is put on a squeeze page and take them to a sales page, and it's a long form text sales letter that sells, an item, then probably the most you'll get away with at this point is going to be a $27, $37 item one time, or maybe like $7 per month or $17 per month kind of thing. However, if you then turn that sales letter into a teleseminar, okay, all of a sudden you can up the price. You can sell the same thing for $500. And better yet, if you invite people to a free event, and I've been to a couple of these actually. Are you familiar with Mobe? The company got shut down, right? So I actually went to their events here in Toronto when I arrived, and I've seen how they market. It was brilliant. Basically, they had all these free events where people came in for 3 hours into the room. The room has no windows, right, and just artificial lights, no drinks, no food, nothing. People just sit on a chair and listen to this lady yap for like an hour and a half, sort of wearing them down almost. And eventually, they pitched like a $1,500 item, and people who never had any exposure with online marketing, people who were not qualified to buy such expensive products, people who were like really literally just walked off the street into it. And I know because I spoke to quite a few of them after the presentation to find out what's like the type of the person who attended, and just regular regular people who were just kind of fascinated with the idea of the internet. Yet they came in and they converted at 15%. 15% of that room, which was about 150 people or so, bought the $997 item because they ended up giving them like discount after discount on a discount for a discount, and like a tuition and whatever. So eventually I was amazed because these people are completely cold. Because if you took the exact same 150 clicks off of a Facebook ad to a presentation that's like word for word the same presentation but on a sales letter, you wouldn't even make a sale.
Yeah. It's interesting because you do bring that up, and you bring up, the point it comes down to environment. And a lot of people, it's fascinating you bring that up. I mean, I say that all the time with a lot of things, like even, even in life, it's like you change, the environment changes everything, for your kids, even for your family, and even for you as a human, and that's one thing. For a lot of people to realize, I think, somebody said that's insane, and it is insane, but it's true. And, whether it's insane or not, it is true. Is, you put it in a different environment. It's a fascinating you say that because, and plus, I can't say anything different. Like, I'm just thinking, like, I convert better at seminars than I do, on webinars, but, it just happens because we're there. The environment's a little bit different, but then you do the same exact thing. You take the same exact thing, you just send it out to a cold email list. It doesn't get as much response. So, for a lot of people to realize, somebody said 100% true. I sat in that room.
That's me. I wrote that.
That was you. Oh, but, sorry. Bringing the evening value. Love it. Oh, that's awesome. So,
Tom's in the house. Tom Deal. Tom's my mentor, by the way. By the way, guys, if you're on this call, I have to plug Tom. If you're on this call and you're looking for somebody who will be in your corner, who will point out your weak spots, who will amplify your best, talents, somebody who will like set you straight, damn it, contact Tom Beal. He's like the top personal performance coach I've ever had in my life. Literally, I've been literally giving this guy money month in and month out for the last 4 years, I think. 4 years nonstop every month, and I think it's the best damn investment I've made in terms of coaching in my life.
I love Tom. I'll tell you guys. I'll give him two more. It's funny. We were even talking about games. Tom and I were at a Super Bowl together. We literally went to a Super Bowl together. We had a limo to the Super Bowl. So I've known him. We've known each other for a long time, and I will say that kudos to that. I do. Tom's always been good to me. Great person, and I've never heard anything negative of him. And that's a damn truth. But getting back to you guys and really thinking about this, it's good. Somebody said good to know. But getting back to you guys, let's just. There's a big thing when it comes to a lot of people. I think, if we were all starting out, and I think you sent me over something, and I was, and you're damn right. You said, if people are starting off, you're starting off and you had to make $10,000. I know that's not really for what we're talking about. Well, it is actually, if you were starting off and you had to make $10,000 and, just starting out, what would you tell people? Like, people are like, hey, I have nothing. I got to start over. I'm starting out. What would your big thing you would tell everybody?
Okay, that's a good question. So the first thing we have to understand is that when it comes to marketing as a general, like as a big idea, marketing, all that marketing is a product or an offer matched with traffic. The moment these two match together well, you have a conversion, therefore you have money coming in. So the first thing I would look for is a market that's passionate enough to be investing or spending money on something. It could be, sports or hobby. It could be a professional interest. It could be a small business owner who wants to improve their customer flow. It could be somebody who wants to increase their productivity. It could be any number of things, but most importantly, what you need to make sure is that the market is a money market, the kind that spends money. And the way you do that is you literally go out there and look into what sells, what's like super hot. And there's a few ways you can do. You can actually do that. So when it comes to selling education, for example, you could get on udemy.com. That's udemy.com. And on that website, you actually have a bunch of categories of all kinds of educational courses on pretty much everything. And based on the number of units sold, and this is like publicly available information there, I don't think you even need to register. They actually tell you how many people bought what product. You can go and you can check out the bestseller category and immediately identify what sells. Then to further support that, go on Amazon and check out the bestseller category in the books section. So if, for example, you chose Google AdWords as your niche or category, get on Amazon, go into the bestseller category, or just type in Google AdWords into the search and see if there's books, if there's more than one book that's selling on that topic. How many reviews does that book have? Is it a bestseller? Is it not a bestseller? And so on and so forth. Are there any other books that are trying to knock off this book, right? Is there any kind of response? Then Google the same thing. Literally go on Google and type in that keyword and see if there's any ads running for that product, for those types of products. Then go on YouTube and do the same thing. So what you're doing is you're leveraging all these free tools and like these aggregates that give you all this information to identify one thing. Is the topic that I chose has money in it? Does it have money in it? And the way you identify is, are there many products being sold in that niche? Because if there are many products, there's definitely money in that niche. So that's one thing. Then the next step would be find an affiliate program. You can of course, you can create a product, but I wouldn't go as far as doing that right away. But find an affiliate offer that you can take in that niche that you can promote. So that could be going to jvzoo.com, it could be going to clickbank.com, to any number of CPA networks, and find an offer that's like in that niche that you can promote and get a decent chunk of commissions. When that happens and you have the offer, then the next thing is, before you start driving traffic, is of course to set it up so you build a list. And that means set up a squeeze page, maybe set up a bridge page or a pre-frame page. I don't think we have the time to go into the pre-framing of it like on this call, but basically make sure there's some kind of sandwich happening between capture page and the offer page, okay? So, and once you've done that and you're hooked up and you got at least a teeny weeny follow-up sequence happening there as well, then you can start driving traffic for that product. But fundamentally, that's what I would do. That would be the first step to getting on the way to 10K. Like this in and of itself, this will not make you 10K, but it will definitely set you on the right trajectory, because from there, you will be able to build more elements onto your sales funnel. And with one funnel, you can get to 10K. With one funnel, you can. I quit my job with one funnel that was consisted of a capture page, a $9.97 front-end offer, a $37 upsell, which was a PLR, squeeze page building software, and an affiliate offer being cross-sold on the thank you page and in the follow-up sequence. That funnel made me $2,900 per month, something like that. And that was enough for me to quit my day job. And within 6 months, by simply repeating the process and by building 2 more of these funnels, I've literally skyrocketed. And again, that was skyrocketing because before that, for 23 years, I wasn't making anything. So all of a sudden, within 6 months, I go from making $2,900 a month, which was in and of itself a crazy salary, for where I was living, like in a really small town in Israel, to 10K per month, which is insane. And I remember the first time it happened, I sat on the couch. It was it was evening time, the weekend. Me and my wife, at the time she still wasn't my wife, but now she is. We were watching TV, and then I kind of stopped the TV. I pull out my iPhone, and I felt I made it because I had an iPhone at the time. I was one of the few people in town who had one because I was making money. And I was like, wait a second. And I put in, I think that month I made 98 something. So almost 10 grand. So I put in the number, then I multiplied by the exchange rate to the Israeli shekel. And I'm like, honey, this month I made 13 times what my mom makes per month working on that factory. And I was like, oh my God. I literally, that was the first time it kind of, the penny dropped, and I realized I just broke the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling for my whole family. like throughout the last couple of generations. My family always used to live literally hands to mouth, because my dad used to always borrow money from anyone he could, like, find, friends, family, doesn't matter, to pay bills. We weren't necessarily poor. Like, I never felt poor when I was growing up, but I know he was always borrowing money because we didn't have enough. And when we were leaving Ukraine to go to Israel, he actually had to sell our car and our apartment, which in and of itself, like, was good stuff, because people didn't have cars and apartments back in Ukraine in the 90s. Like, if you had them, you were kind of okay. So when he sold everything for a total of like $7,000, we immigrated to Israel with literally $1,000. That was all we had, which means he had to pay off everything. Like, he just had to return the debt before we could leave. It was insane. So, and from the moment we immigrated to Israel and up until the point where I made it online, we pretty much ate shit, like nonstop, every single day, sinking deeper in debt. Eventually I paid off all of the family debt, but like, from that point we just kind of started sinking. And the whole my parents, I remember my dad was telling me, I was like, Dad, are we struggling? And he's like, you don't worry about it, just go to school and get good grades and get a good job when you're done. Like, you're gonna save your family. And eventually I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, wait, I'm doing it wrong. It doesn't work. Yeah, so I'm so happy to have picked up Kiyosaki's book, like, at the age of 19 or 20 or something. Changed my life.
That's awesome. So, talking about changing people's lives, I know, we've been on here for roughly about 30 minutes. I told you we were going to be on here about 30 minutes. And we've been talking, you and I have been talking, I think, a lot, probably in the last year, probably more than we connected the first time. But to be honest, everybody, we've heard each other. We've heard of each other for
I met you one time.
Years.
I met you one time at JV Zoo in Orlando in 2014.
Huh.
It was in August. I remember that because when I went back home from that event, immediately upon arriving home, I partnered up with my business partner, Dennis, and that was also the day when I joined a cult. I actually ended up joining this cult in Florida called Self Discovery, and we'll leave it for a different Facebook Live for now. But again, I sort of went through that process, and I met this guy at that event. Again, that in a way also changed my life, not in the best way, but in a weird way, and led to me eventually, like, for my marriage not falling apart, for which I'm really grateful. But I clearly remember meeting you, and you were wearing the exact same baseball hat, the exact shirt, the exact same beard, with a backpack.
I even got the same shorts.
Like, is that Matt Basak? Oh my God, that is Matt Basak? It's like, I didn't even know, like, how to behave around you. So I was like, hey, man, like, shake your hand, and just left because I had no idea what to say. So
well, but I mean, thanks. I didn't know you were going to say that. But we have connected lately, and every time I talk to you, I'm always really impressed. And I'll tell you guys, and because of that, it's hard to forget meeting Matt Basak. Well, that's nice. Usually most people remember me because I bring them to the bar and just buy rounds of Irish car bombs. Usually, I used to be known for that. I used to own 5 pages of Google. Literally, you search the word Irish car bomb, and there's like 5 pages of Google, because I just made everybody drink it, and then everybody take pictures, and it was crazy. But we don't need to get into that. And I will say one thing though: Andrew Fox had a party once, and I learned to never go to Northern Ireland and ask for an Irish car bomb. It's just not the right place to ever ask for one. Anyway, that is actually not even a joke. But the point is this: you and I talk. We're doing some stuff together. I mean, shoot stuff together. We're feeling. We've known each other for a while. We've known each other for a while. We started doing some more stuff, and we're actually doing something. I'm trying to think what even today is. But we're doing.
Yeah, you're coming on. You're coming on to do a webinar for me and my tribe tomorrow. Yeah, and then I got you a webinar for your tribe the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, so you're coming on a Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yep. I don't, for some reason I just lost it. Wednesday at 2:00.
No. Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Wednesday at 7. Hold on.
I think
sure?
so.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wednesday at 7 for you. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry because we were doing them. So just so you guys know, Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and just to be clear, so this is how good we are when we don't have like our assistants telling us our calendar. So Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I'll just let you guys know we're doing something special. And what we're going to do is I want to invite you guys out to a webinar that he's going to be on there sharing more stuff. And if you guys know, what I wanted to do this call is kind of like to let you guys meet him. Guys, dude, the guy's real. He's really done it. And I will tell you, I'm so impressed with everything's done. I mean, he's literally out there. I mean, and he's not like, some people like, he knows. I mean, he knows this stuff, and I know. I mean, he knows this stuff. Actually, every time I talk to you, blow me away. There's something you always say. And I don't know if you saw me here probably, but if you see me start doing this, or you see me kind of look up, it's only because you got me thinking. Because I'm like, yeah. Like my brain's going 100 miles a minute every time I talk to you. So, but I want to let everybody know. So we're going to be doing a call. Can you tell people a little bit about what you're going to be talking about the call so they know?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll give you guys the link for that here in a sec.
The call is going to be all about traffic. Basically, the idea is that I got really good at driving traffic. I got really good at building lists, but of course, a big part of it is getting those eyeballs. And what I noticed is that most people struggle with getting the eyeballs. They struggle, like the idea is, a lot of people don't even know where to begin. Like, right? I mean, they're being told go on post on Facebook, or go and upload a YouTube video, but nobody wants to fake it till they make it. Nobody wants to get on camera, and then same with social media. It kind of works only if you're already famous. Then you can turn it into a traffic source. Until then, it doesn't work like that. Like if you follow me and so I follow you, I don't give a damn what you post about. I'm not going to click that link. So yeah, so the ideal outcome for the call, okay, and you should attend it if you want to achieve this outcome, is how you can go from standing start to getting hundreds of leads every single day without touching your computer. You don't have to like literally sit there, like create articles and post stuff online and get on the forums and pretend like you want to be helpful to people and talking about things you had no idea about. So you can go from absolute zero to getting hundreds of leads per day, and how to also make sure that these leads are targeted and are also qualified. In other words, there's a difference between a lead and a good lead, right? Remember, there's things like interest, there's things like intent, there's things like ability to buy. Because a lot of people don't realize this, but we are, like Dan Kennedy talks about, we are in the new economy where 1/3 of the population moved down financially with no ability to buy. So we have to be more rigid and more, forgive me for lack of a better word, anal, when we qualify the leads that we get. And, a big part of that call is going to be all about how do you find the best leads, and how do you get those best leads hitting your capture page automatically every single day. So even if you're out there with your kids playing catch, or if you still have a full-time job that you can't quit because you got financial commitments, how can you still grow your business without necessarily having to give up your time or give up on any of your principles, or faking it until you make it, or try to pretend like that you're an expert when you're really not?
That's awesome. So I just posted, I'm trying to find it. Okay. Yeah, good. I just posted the link. There we go. And that's weird. It pops me up right there. John Benson said, loves me some facing. That's weird. John and I show our picture, but my picture's, I guess it looks like it's showing. That's the link right there. You probably can't click it, but you can see it down below. And I pinned it up so that you guys can click and join us to get on this webinar. Benson, I don't know if you know John Benson, but he's on here right now. He said hello.
Yeah, I know John Benson. Email open click buy is the last word to John Benson. Actually, the idea, John Benson's idea of the monkey mind, I first heard it from my copywriting mentor, Ross Bowring. He literally called it the monkey mind for the first time, but I had no idea that John Benson actually has a monkey. I mean, it's nuts. I think, right, John? I mean, you wrote in your book that you actually either have a real monkey, or is that an imaginary monkey that you think is real? I mean, there's something going on with the monkey that I remember. But yeah, the mind is like that, and it just goes nuts sometimes, which is why, pulling that right word or the right angle for your email or the right subject line is so critical these days, because people kind of go into their inbox now, right? And, the people used to go into their email inbox and be like, okay, I want to read this email. Let me read it. Now it's not like that. Now they pull up their phone and they kind of scroll through the feed and be like, okay, I want to delete this email and this email and this email. So they don't even look for things to read. They just look for things to delete because it got so overwhelming.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, I'm just telling you guys, I am really excited about this. I'll tell you, and how excited it is. I am is, well, one, two. It's not just my excitement. What I was trying to say, sorry, because they were telling me the game score, so I kind of got kicked off a second. But I want to let you guys know this is, my list is really excited. So you're going to be giving away, and I'll tell you this, you're going to be giving away some, you're doing a $3,000 bribe or something like that.
Yes, so anyone who attends the webinar, I'm actually giving you guys a 31-day email sequence, and it's actually targeted for internet marketing niche. So you can use it to promote any internet marketing or make money online or network marketing or business opportunity type of offer. So that offer is teaching people how to work from home and make money. Then you can literally take that email, put your link in, and run it. And I personally wrote those emails. Now, in case, just to put in some value, an email, or when I send out an email to my list, I actually make a lot of money. I don't want to brag with specific numbers or whatever, but just take my word for it. I make a lot of money. And so when I write emails for other people, I actually charge you a lot of money for that because of the opportunity cost. So the absolute minimum you can get me to write your emails is $297 per email. So that's at least $3,000 value right there. It's a 31-day email sequence, and you get it automatically by attending the webinar. So basically you attended. When we're going to be done with the webinar, I have an automated script that sends you the link. Now, it actually knows to tell whether you attended in full or not. So if you come in on the webinar and leave after 22 minutes, it'll not send you the link. So I don't even control that. It's fully automated. So if you want to get that, just come on board, learn some cool tricks, and at the same time get a really kick-ass gift.
Yeah, and I will tell you the subject line, because everybody knows I split test like crazy. The subject line that actually won is ethical $3,000 bribe. That's what made me remember it. So
nothing like a bribe, guys. If there's ever a lesson in marketing for you here, nothing like a bribe, nothing like a cookie for your audience, to get them to engage with you. I mean, as much as I'd like to say that we're all noble and that we're all crystal and pure, but the fact of the matter is there's a brain inside our heads, and that brain works by a certain set of rules, and our brain loves bribes. That's it. Our brain likes the candy. So, when you create a funnel, when you create any sort of engaging content or whatever, bribe people. I know it's may not be the most ethical thing in the world, although we make our bribes pretty ethical, but they work. Bribes increase engagement. And so if there's an example of good marketing, then, do ethical bribes. It's really cool. Your audience ends up loving you more. You get to feel better as well, because it'd be like, oh, I'm giving people all this free value, right? So it's easier for you to spread your message and change people's lives. And overall, everybody wins. So that's why we do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So any closing comments or anything you want to share before we get off here? Anything you didn't say that you wish you would have said?
Yes, absolutely. So the one thing that I really wish for the people who are going to be attending the training on Wednesday to promise to themselves is that they won't let this webinar to be just another webinar where they sort of attend, maybe take a few notes, and then sort of just go back their life and keep living the same life. We're living that Groundhog Day life that they hate. So if you want something to change, just like my mentor Tom Beal says, nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you are going to show up to that training, and it's totally up to you to decide whether or not you want to do that. It's totally up to you to find the right reasons for you to show up. And I'm sure that those of you who know, who need it will make the time and take the effort to do that. What I want you to do is promise to yourself, make that commitment to yourself that you won't let this training just be another one where you collect information, but don't necessarily do much with it. I want you to promise yourself ahead of time that you're going to take that information and you're going to use it to improve your life and your business, okay? Because your business and your life are intertwined. You improve one, you improve the other, period. So again, if you do plan to attend that training, make sure to make that upfront commitment, and better yet, write it down on paper, right? I am committed to using this information to improve my business, right? And not only write it on paper, tell it to somebody. Call your best friend and say, hey, I'm attending this webinar and I'm committed to using that information. Tell your spouse, call up, your brother or your sister, make sure that someone else other than you knows, because then, you kind of have to follow through. Otherwise you look like a hypocrite, right? So make it easy for yourself to follow through and make it hard for yourself not to follow through. See what I mean? Like,
yeah,
do the candy, do the stick and the carrot.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to say something to everybody since you brought that up. It was interesting. I'm not going to mention his name, but I was at a seminar sitting next to a guy. I think he did 16, he did $16 million last year from his email list, actually. And he said he went and he bought whatever, the guy was offering. And it's funny because he turned around and he looked at everybody in the audience because everybody's kind of like, whoa, what did you do? You bought. And he said to him, he goes, when I listen to win. He goes, I guarantee you, when you listen here, you listen how you're going to lose. He said, come from a place to listen how you're going to win. And I was challenging everybody that gets on this call. Look, I couldn't put you in a better hands. Like, I'm seriously, I don't say, I shut my mouth a lot, but I will tell you, dude, this guy's a real deal. Like, impressive. Just the things he's doing, when, all the stuff that we've been doing in the background and all our communication, has been, remarkable. What he says he's going to do, he does. He's one of the rare catches, of the market. And I'm really excited to have him on. I'm gonna tell you guys, if you haven't signed up, there's a link below. I think if I put it up, you can't click on it anyway. But I'll put it above after it's over. But I do have it as a pinned comment, so it should be at the top. And then just click on that, register for the thing, get on there, and get there when we're on Wednesday. And you guys get ready for especially because I know you guys everybody here. This is like little marriage here for world. Let's say the thing we're doing now. Everybody loves email. You guys love list building. I know it. You guys love email marketing. You guys know it's real. You want to be here. And, we finally, it's taken us forever to kind of get together. We're finally getting together. And, that's the cool thing is, and our lists are actually speaking out loud. The response, I'm getting emails of excitement. I know he's getting, we're both getting emails of excitement.
Oh yeah.
Of the stuff that we're doing. So I'll tell you guys, literally go register. And somebody said already signed up. So, so I would go register right now and work as quick as you can. Remember, you guys can get that $3,000 ethical bribe. Remember, he's got that, the thing in there to watch it, but get on there, pay attention, listen to win, and, take in what he said too, make that commitment, and make it happen, from there. So look, I really appreciate you and everything, for being on here. Everybody. We have a bunch of people on here. You guys have been really chatty. It's good. And the link is clickable. Woohoo! Somebody said so. Yeah, good. It is clickable. And just all you got to do is just click the link, jump on over, fill it out, and you will see you guys on Wednesday. Dan, thanks for your time. Thank you, guys. Good day.